Payton Talbott versus Henry Cejudo. Now, this one is one of those matchups that make you just go, that's weird. Like, I actually like it. I think it's cool, but it's also random as hell. It feels like the UFC just spun, a wheel and landed on two names and said, yeah, that'll work. And weirdly enough, I'm kind of here with it. I fuck with it. I ain't gonna lie. Because look, stylistically, it's interesting. Payton, he's long, he's athletic, and he's hungry. Henry is short, he's small, he's short. I'm just kidding. But he's compact and obviously experienced as hell. But context matters, right? Henry's on a 3-fight losing streak, which is wild to even say out loud. The first two losses, I'll give him a pass. He lost to Aljo and Marab. That's literally losing to the two best bantamweights in the world. No shame there. But the Song Yadong fight, I don't know. That one kind of hurts. That's the fight he really should haven't lost, in my opinion. And even though it ended in that weird eye poke situation, looking back, I still give Song all those first 3 rounds. It just didn't feel like Henry was in control at any point, in my opinion. And that's what's kind of crazy here. This isn't the same 135 pounder we saw him in his prime. This version of Henry, the one that beat Demetrius Johnson, Marlon Moraes, and Dominic Cruz, that guy is gone. He let those prime years pass him by, okay? You just can't take years off at bantamweight and expect just to pick up where you left off. Now, to make things even more wild, Henry's talking retirement again. Like I said, apparently this is his last fight because, bro, he's been retired since 2020. Every time he loses, it's like, one more, I don't know, Kamaru, maybe one more, I don't know. It's hard for me to take him seriously anymore, but that's what makes this fight tricky to call. If he's half in and half out, how motivated is he really? That's the thing. Still, you just can't count him out. Henry's still one of the most accomplished MMA fighters ever. Olympic gold medalist, double champ, fought legends. His fight IQ, it's elite. His skill set is deep. And his wrestling foundation is still there. But man, he's slowing down. I mean, you can see it. He's not exploding in those level changes the way he used to. His timing, in my opinion, is a bit off. His reactions are a bit, slower. And now he's fighting a young, hungry dude like Payton Talbott. That's dangerous. Payton's not a big name yet, but he's sharp. He's got the physical tools Henry doesn't have anymore. He has length, just because he's, taller than him, and Henry's small. Speed, youth, recovery. This is a passing of the torch kind of fight, or at least a chance to see if Payton can handle the big test. And that's the thing that kind of makes me nervous about this entire matchup for Payton. Like, man, this is a big jump. You're talking about a guy who's fighting Felipe Lima, a solid underrated competitor, to now fighting Triple C, Henry Cejudo, one of the most accomplished dudes in MMA history. That's not just a step up, dude. That's a big leap of faith. Let's just say how it is. I get it. Payton's got the momentum. He's flashy. He's improving fast. And the hype's starting to catch fire again. But still, number 10 in the world, facing Henry already, that's the kind of matchmaking that makes you go, yo, are we rushing this guy? And don't get me wrong, that Lima fight was phenomenal. Payton looked composed, sharp, confident, and that's coming from someone like me who was actually against him. Yeah, I'll own to that, okay? I thought Lima was going to be that guy who humbles him again. And I even said publicly, and after a few days afterwards, y'all roasted me in the comments, which, yeah, fair enough. Fuck you to the ones who celebrate my bad pick. But hey, that's part of the game, But here's the thing. Even though I was wrong, I learned something about Payton in this fight. He's legit improving. The biggest criticism everyone threw at him after that Barcelo fight was that he has no takedown defense. People were calling him one-dimensional, saying that he couldn't handle a crafty veteran with good wrestling. And at that time, they weren't wrong. Barcelo kind of mauled him at some points. But then again, the Lima fight. Bro came back, proved that he's learning, and he's getting better. He stuffed something like 95% of his takedowns. That's a legit number. And when Lima did manage to drag him down, when he managed to drag Payton down, he was calm. He looked at the screen and was like, all right, I'm going to get back up right now. And then he just stood up like it was nothing. That's rare confidence from a young fighter. What impressed me the most was how patient he looked. There was no panic. There was no wild scrambling, just pure composure. And that shows growth, dude. Still, even with all that, it's hard not to feel a little nervous from going from Lima, who's good but not elite like somebody like Cejudo, who's seen everything in MMA. So yeah, I like this matchup, but I'm cautious. I think Payton's got the tools, the length, the cardio, the composure, but this is the prove it moment for me. Can you really hang with the former double champ who's been there with the best of the best? And that's what makes this fight so interesting. It's not just about who's better. It's about whether Payton can really handle the pressure. And man, this is a risky fight. But I'm leaning towards Payton. But I wouldn't put my money on it. That's just how close it feels. I know people are just going to roll their eye like, bro, really? Henry's just going to copy what Barcelo did and wrestle him to the mat. But that narrative doesn't really hold up when you really dig into it. Yeah, Henry can wrestle. He's an Olympic gold medalist. We get it. But go back and watch all his recent fights, or even go further back. When was the last time he took somebody down and kept them down there, and landed actual damage? Not just a flash takedown or a trip. I'm talking about real control time. Henry's pressure, ground and pound, you don't really see that version of Cejudo. I argue that you hardly ever did. The wrestling is still sharp, but the ability to hold guys down and punish them, he just doesn't have that. Meanwhile, Payton's takedown defense has quietly gotten better. We saw it with the Felipe Lima fight. He stuffed most of those shots. He stayed calm when he was taken down, and he got right back up like it was nothing. That's a huge shift from the Barcelo fight. And I think this time, this matchup actually happens. That part of the game will be leveling up even more. Stylistically, it's a tough one for Henry because of the range, in my opinion. Payton's a big 135er. Long arms, tall frames, keeps everything at the end of his strikes. Henry's got to get close to close that gap, And he's going to have to do it over and over. And every time he does, he's walking through jabs, teeps, knees. I'm not saying Henry can't land. He's still got the speed, to a certain extent, and the IQ. But he's going to eat a lot of shots trying to get inside. And another thing that worries me is that Henry tends to start strong, then he fades. We saw it with the Song Yadong fight. Good first round. Then the output kind of dipped hard in the second. Same thing with the Murad fight. He was already looking tired by the second, round, and it's a 3-round fight. That's not a good sign, especially against a younger, longer guy who thrives in scramble now. And adding the whole, this might be my last fight talk, man, I don't like that energy. When you go into a fight already talking about the finishing line, it's like you've already got one foot out of the door. Combine that with your inactivity and your age and your stylistic issues, and it's just a tough pick for me, man. It's hard to pick Henry, with confidence. Now, to be fair, I think Henry still got some solid tools to work with in this fight. Like, if we're talking about what he could do stylistically, I think he can lean heavy on those low kicks. And honestly, he should. Because Payton stands tall, and wide. So that lead leg is just sitting there waiting to get chopped. Those kicks aren't going to end the fight. But they're going to force Payton to react. Check, switch, stance, move off balance. And that's how Henry can get his openings. And what Henry does best is mixing levels. He can fake a takedown early and get Payton thinking the wrestling's coming, and then come over on top with a short hook or, overhand, right? Those kind of feints and traps are where their experience really shows. If he can start chaining that stuff together, low kicks, feints, clinch, strike, shoot, he could definitely steal some rounds. Now, the big question mark is Henry's cardio. If this really is his last fight, he's got to show up in shape. He can't afford to fade after one round like he did in the Song Yadong fight, where he was more flat-footed in the second round. If he can keep a consistent pace, just enough to win the first 2 rounds, he could actually pull it off. The ideal Henry game plan is just to make it grimy, clinch with Payton when he gets in close, throw shots, combos, give a collar tie, knee the body, and then drop levels again. Break the rhythm. That's the key, because Payton's long, and if you let him get comfortable behind that jab, you're going to be in trouble. Henry needs to keep that fight messy, consistent pressure, clinch, and level change. Don't let Payton settle into range, even if he gasses a bit late. If he banks those first 2 rounds with the volume and control, he could walk out with the decision. So yeah, I'm not picking Henry, but I do think he's got the blueprint if he can make this one ugly, take away Payton's rhythm and grind those early exchanges. He's got a path to a sneaky W, bro. But man, like I said earlier, sadly, my pick is Payton. I really think his jab is going to be the difference maker here. That long jab is his key. He doesn't need to go in, swing in there for the fences or trying to land those bombs early. He just needs to touch Henry up, like, ba, 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 over and over. Keep that jab pumping. Keep him at range, and don't let Henry get comfortable. You know how Henry fights, short, explosive bursts. He needs to get in your face to do his best work. So if Payton could just, keep that jab snapping, keep moving, circling out, resetting, he's going to make Henry chase him all night. And the more Henry chases, the more he gets tired. The goal isn't just to hurt him right away, it's to make him frustrate him, to make this fight a pace that he doesn't want. Here's another thing, the body, bro. The body's going to be wide open. Henry keeps that tight guard up high, whenever he's in close distance. You can see it. His hands are tying up, his chin is tucked, but that midsection, That's free real estate, okay? Payton needs to go downstairs early, mix in those front kicks, those teeps, those straight shots to the gut. You slow Henry down to the body, those level changes are coming slower, those entries are sloppier. But here's the truth, Henry's cardio ain't what it used to be. We've seen it. He starts fast, but he fades against Song Yudong. That output fell off. He still had a great performance, but you could tell after round 1, it wasn't the same. Against Merab, he already slowed down in the second round in a 3-round fight. If that happens here, Payton's going to eat him alive in the second or third round. And the thing I like about Payton is that he's got that calm confidence. He's not going to panic when Henry shoots. He just needs to keep those knees and uppercuts ready. He doesn't even have to land clean. He just has to make Henry think twice about shooting, make him hesitate, because once Henry starts second guessing those takedowns, that jab becomes way more effective. If I'm Payton, I'm mixing in my own feints in too, fake the jab, make Henry bite, then hit him with that straight or fake the straight and throw the knee. And when he ducks, make him uncomfortable. Make him react first. And look, I'll be real with you. I want Payton to win, okay? I'm biased, okay? Because right now, Merab's out here, killing everybody at 135. Everyone's dying, okay? We need some new blood. I want Payton to win so we can have some new fighters, okay? Up this weight class. And you look at the rankings, man, there's some actual solid names that are coming up. McGee, he's ranked number 15. I don't know how he got that fight with Peter Yan, but whatever. That's matchmaking for you. We have Zahabi, and then we have Payton right now. The point is the division needs a shakeup. We've seen the same top names rotating for a bit, and this weight class is elite. We just need new blood, new competition to make it exciting. So, that's what I want. And if Payton wins, bro, just imagine the matchups. Payton versus Song Yudong. Payton versus Umar Nurmagomedov, Payton versus McGee, all fresh, all fun. That's the kind of stuff that, makes the division exciting. So yeah, I'm being biased here, but I'm just being honest. I want Payton to win because 135 needs some new life injected to it. All right? It's just plain and simple, but those are just my thoughts and my prediction. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below. And if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And like always, I'll see you on my next one.